a ja im kažem kova, da sad pogledaju poučni skeč o jeziku.
There was this great comic show, kind of like, Bosnian version of Monty Python, but it had audience all over the former Yugoslavia, and they had a sketch foreseeing what is going to happen in the future, because the first talks about separate languages started already in the 1980s, and they were making fun of that. So they already in that show at the end of 80s, they were showing how absurd this was, and it was really, hilarious, but actually, materialized in real life.
Došlo do jednog epohalnog otkrića da se u stvari u lingvistici naime, ne postoji jedan jezik koji se do sada neprecizno nazivao srpsko-hrvatski, odnosno hrvatsko-srpski jezik, već se radi o 6 različitih jezika. Naime, radi se o 6 jezika se radi. O srpskom, hrvatskom, bosanskom, hercegovačkom, crnskom i gorskom jeziku. Imamo jedan primjer proste rečenice gdje ima samo subjekat, predikat, rečenica koja glasi ja čitam. To je na srpskom jeziku. Na hrvatskom jeziku se ova rečenica govori potpuno drugačije. Kaže se ja čitam. Dok je bosanski jezik međutim potpuno drugačiji od ove prve dvije varijante i ovo se na bosanskom jeziku kaže ja čitam. Ali hercegovački jezik je zanimljiv jer je sličan bosanskom jeziku i ima mnogo sličnih, skoro istih semantičkih konotacija, te se ova rečenica na hercegovačkom jeziku kaže ja čitam. Dok je crnski jezik možda i najinteresantniji od svih jezika, naime na crnskom jeziku se ova rečenica kaže, ja mislim da nema šansi da pogodite kako se to kaže. Šta mislite vi kako se kaže na crnskom jeziku ova rečenica? Alo?
Izvolite.
Kako se kaže na crnskom jeziku ova rečenica?
Koja rečenica?
Ova rečenica koju ja čitam, kako se kaže na crnskom?
Ja čitam, kako se kaže?
Na crnskom, kako se kaže?
Ja čitam.
Ja, potpuno pogrešno. Na crnskom se kaže, pazite dobro. Ja čitam. Dok je gorski jezik potpuno drugačiji od svih ovih varijanti i na gorskom jeziku se ova rečenica kaže, evo ga, a ova rečenica kaže ja čitam.
For over half a century after the end of the Second World War, Yugoslavia was ruled by the partisan leader Marshal Tito. Under his socialist government administration, boundaries were blind to the mixed ethnicities of the country's citizens. A decade after Tito's death, the war exposed the reality of these ethnic divisions, and nowhere more so than in a region known as Bosnia-Herzegovina. Here, the formerly mixed communities disintegrated, and people were forced to move into one of 3 more or less ethnically homogeneous regions. The war left Sarajevo, the capital of Bosnia-Herzegovina, almost completely Bosniak, which is to say Muslim, purged of its Orthodox Serb and Christian Croat communities. The Serbs became concentrated in the so-called Republika Srpska to the north and east, while the Croats occupied an area along the western fringe of the country. The people of Bosnia had once shared a common language, known as Serbo-Croatian, but now, under pressure to assert their independent national identities, the language itself began to disintegrate. Today, over 15 years after the war officially ended at the Dayton Accords, hostilities continue. Not on the streets of Sarajevo, but in the schools, publishing houses and newspapers of the former Yugoslavia. This war over language exacerbates ethnic divisions and threatens to undermine the fragile peace. Bosnian, Croatian and Serbian are now the official languages of Bosnia-Herzegovina. 2 scripts, Latin and Cyrillic, are in use. In the capital of Bosnia-Herzegovina, the Muslim majority speaks a language they call Bosnian, and they write in a Latin script. The choice of script makes ethnic borders visible. Here, for example, within the capital itself, a switch from Latin to Cyrillic tells the visitor he is entering the Serbian section of the city. A 140 kilometers northwest of Sarajevo is Banja Luka, the capital of Republika Srpska. that part of Bosnia-Herzegovina that has a majority Serbian population.
The language used to be called Serbo-Croatian or Serbo-Croat. But according to Snježana Kordić and other linguists, it was called Serbo-Croatian only to acknowledge the fact that the language was spoken, let's say, by the Serbs, both by Serbs and Croats, and that it was one and the same language. So it's not some Yugo nostalgia thing. Serbo-Croatian language is a language that was developed by Vuk, Ljudevit Gaj, all these people, so it's acknowledged that, you know, it's one language and it's Serbo-Croatian language.
In the 19th century, Croatians and Serbs led by Ljudevit Gaj and Vuk Stefanović Karadzic agreed to base the common language on the Stokavian variant. They worked on a shared dialect because it would make it easy for the speakers from Bosnia, Herzegovina, Croatia and Serbia to communicate. But today Ljudevit Gaj is considered the father of the Croatian language and Vuk Karadzic is a Serb national hero. The result of their collaborative work is claimed by both Croats and Serbs.
You have Serbian linguists, most notably Miloš Kovačević, who claim that it's one language and it's Serbian language. It's not even Serbo-Croatian because Croats never spoke in Stokavian dialect. They only spoke in Čakavian dialect, which was never standardized to become a language. So according to Kovačević, it's all one language and it's all Serbian. And Serbian is spoken by Serbs, Croats, Montenegrins, Bosnians, etc., etc. Croatian linguists and Bosnian linguists are also divided in the sense that, well, they of course claim it's not Serbian, it's Croatian, and Croat linguists, Baotić, Babić, etc., they say it's Croatian because the orthographic norm is different, the lexis is different. Bosnian linguists say it's the accent and the lexis, and Mithat Riđanović once said that Bosnians cannot be expected to call their language the language of the people who tried to eradicate them. So you have all these three different, let's say, camps of linguists who are arguing for different reasons which is the language that we speak. The fact of the matter, syntactically, linguistically, scientifically, is that it's one and the same language. But as everything in Bosnia and Herzegovina is related to ethnic identity, we like to call our languages in a way that these would correspond to the ethnic groups. But the question of, you know, they say the language is a dialect with an army and a navy, and this is true. I mean, it's sort of the emotional rhetoric. Oh, you know, Cyrillica has been under attack, we need to preserve it. Somebody's trying to eradicate us.
Within the Republika Srpska, the Cyrillic script has become a means by which the institutions of local governments can assert a separate Serbian ethnic identity. But such actions are common on all sides. Although official, both scripts must be used by all state institutions throughout Bosnia-Herzegovina. In practice, Cyrillic or Latin are employed by each community to underscore its ethnic differences and to remind the other of the business left unfinished at the signing of the peace agreement in Dayton, Ohio in 1995. The business, that is, of national self-determination.
Now you have Republic of Srpska and Federation of BiH, and you have Bosnian language. I mean, all these three things have been, let's say, the result of the war, or shall we say invented. You know, Benedict Anderson says it's all imagined communities. Things get invented and reinvented, and Eric Hobsbawm says it's the invention of tradition, and we keep doing it all the time. But in Bosnia and Herzegovina, it's a divided society, it's a divided country. It's a country in which constitution these ethnic differences have been inscribed upon. It's really profitable to say that these differences exist because they can secure your living. The same thing goes for politicians.
I call case number IT0992I, the prosecutor versus Ratko Mladic.
Could I first check that you're able to follow these proceedings in a language you understand?
Razumijem maternji jezik srpski. Razumijem makedonski jezik jer sam dugo godina u Makedoniji bio. Ostale jezike ne
Mr.
razumijem.
Mladic, important is to establish that you can follow the proceedings in a language you understand, and you have confirmed that.
Good afternoon, Your Honour. This is case number ITO 367, Rule 77.4 in the matter of Vojislav Šešov.
Thank you, Mr. Registrar. Good afternoon to everyone. Mr. Šešel, are you hearing me in a language that you understand?
Čujem vas u prevodu na srpski jezik koji jedini razumem. Ovdje izmišljaju neke nove jezike, hrvatski, bosanski, šta ja znam, ali ja razumem samo srpski jezik i ne dozvoljavam da se moj maternji jezik vređa tako što će se nazivati BHS-om ili sličnim nazivom.
BCS, Bosnian, Croatian, Serbian, is a denomination recently adopted by the international community. The nationalist forces of all ethnicities reject this name that binds the three languages together. Serbs and Croats do not recognise the Bosnian language, arguing it is not based on any historical reality, while Bosniaks reject the notion that their language is just a combination of Serbian and Croatian. They started to adopt Turkish and Arabic borrowings. The real issue, though, is the naming of the language spoken by the Muslim Slavs. Bosnian refers to a place and is preferred by Bosnian linguists and Bosniaks because it strengthens their ties to their territory. Croats and Serbs oppose the name chosen by the Bosniaks. Many of them do not recognise the Bosnian language, opposing the identification of one ethnicity with the whole country. Jasmina Husanovic is an academic at the University of Tuzla, an ethnically mixed city within the Bosniak Muslim territory, but close to the border with the Republika Srpska.
You can't stay without a language, and you can't name it, either Serbian or Croatian because these two countries are, actually involved in the war there. So, this was very much, a react. In the first moment it looked like a reaction, but later on it got other connotations. So for the Bosniak ethno-nationalist elites, they sometimes use Bosnian language as something also to unify the nation, the Bosniak nation, and they started doing that, in the 1990s and 2000, and so it's very tricky. It's very tricky that because you see the difference. It's Bosnian language, but which is not equal to the ethno-nationalist belonging Bosniak. So, there is a little bit of, inconvenient difference here.
The ultimate aim of the Croats, Serbs and Bosniaks seems to be the achievement of a name that corresponds to the ethnicity of the speakers. The effects of this policy of disintegration are permeating throughout Bosnian society.
So not only do we have three languages, but we have two schools under same roof. In Konjic, Croats and Muslims or Bosniaks, first shift of, let's say, primary school students goes in the morning, and then Croats come in the evening. And they do socialize, but their, let's say, their day-to-day schooling is strongly biopolitically driven and guided, and these kids do not mix. I mean, they might mix later on the playground playing soccer, but they will not mix during this schooling, this period of structured going to school activities.
Those are definitely the places of apartheid, funded by the international community. They probably thought this is a good idea just to bring them together somehow, but they could have done it in a much more integrated way rather than this, perpetuating the old doctrine, separate but equal. It doesn't work. You can imagine what kind of chaos this creates in such a small country with 4 million people. But that's Dayton for you when it comes to education and
The Dayton Agreement ended the war, leaving Bosnia-Herzegovina with an unsettled peace. The international community hastily endorsed the language separatism, underestimating the issues of the post-war political scenario. The legacy of such decisions is now in the hands of the younger generations.
if we can say that language equals experience, and if we focus on my generation that was pretty young when the conflict happened. I mean, we couldn't understand it in these coded ways. For us, there were no borders. So for me, it's a paradox when I try to first imagine the division and then deconstruct it and then imagine a solution, because there's a lot of people for whom it's very hard to see clearly if they are growing up, or right now if they are in areas where this ideological, let's say, pumped up story is still pretty much alive.
While travelling in the border region where one ethnic territory blurs into another, it is easy to see how different scripts are one means of keeping these stories of ethnic difference and national identity alive. The two scripts, Latin and Cyrillic, are not to be found together or not at all in areas where the ethnic composition is strongly homogeneous. The area of Omaska was witness to widespread ethnic cleansing in the early 1990s. Here it is difficult to escape the clutches of Serbian nationalism, yet a local student has decided to study his language in order to understand his people and defeat ethnic divisions.
I think it's easier for me to understand all the sides, than for someone who's already on one side. I've had a chance to hear students all around Bosnia, and they're pretty much confused. They say they speak some of them say they don't understand Croatian fully, and that's kind of ridiculous. And they're speaking Bosnian, and they don't know some Serbian words. They have a problem with it. They think those are different languages. They think, and they're definitely they don't know what's their identity, but just trying to make their own in opposition to the other one. You're not fully. You don't know what being a Serb means to you, but you know that you're not a Bosniak, you're not a Muslim, you're not a Croat, you're not Catholic, so probably they think that they're choosing one language, their traditional language, and the language that their grandfathers and forefathers spoke, so I'm using Cyrillic. That really makes my stand go even further on, I'm sticking to this. I'm a Serb. I'm Orthodox. It's an ideological struggle, and it happens all the time, and it has to be rethought over and over again.
Of all ethnicities, Croatians have taken the most resolute steps in the direction of a complete language separation, while Serbian is used to unify its speakers spread across the country. Yet the borders between languages are easily crossed.
People will always say if they're Serbs, they're speaking Serbian, and Croats will say Croatian, but actually you could perfectly well understand them, and you could mix them all the time, So I would say I'm speaking this new-born language, the mixture of all three of them. So you cannot, and if I make a mistake, I would say I'm speaking Croatian. So you cannot punish me for it.
So Croatian, Serbian, and Bosnian are still mutually intelligible languages, but the barriers that have been set up to divide their speakers threaten the continuation of a shared cultural experience, and thus any prospect of a common national identity among Bosnia's different ethnic groups. The only hope for resistance to this centrifugal force lies with the youth of Bosnia, but it will require leadership and wisdom if they are to hold out against the divisive education system and the pressures from nationalistic and religious authorities. Livno lies on the frontier with Croatia, and here, as in other parts of Bosnia, that pressure is hard to resist.
I'm Bosnian, but I'm Croat from Bosnia, so my language is Croatian. When I was 7 years old, the war started in my country and we were forced to leave our place. So we escaped to Croatia and then to Germany as refugees. We have one point in Bosnia when we talk about our past. It's a division between before the war and after the war. And everything what we're talking about, it's always before the war and after the war. Now, I don't even remember what language we were learning. It was probably called Serbo-Croatian, but that Croatian part was lost somewhere. Our language was forbidden in my hometown and in these areas in Bosnia. We had to write more Serbian. For example, 1,000. Croats use the old Slavic version, we say tisuća. And here Serbs and Bosniaks use more hiljada, I think that's of Greek origin. So, for example, for that word, my auntie wrote that word, I don't know, in an essay, or she said it in the schools, and she was threatened by some communists that, you know, they will go to police and tell what she said. It was just a word for the number, I mean, nothing special. We are so close to each other, and it's a country of 3 people. So we are kind of on the borders, you know, on the borders. And in every moment, you have to know who you are and who are your people, you know. Here, everything matters.